The massive alien vessel hung above Earth's atmosphere like a dark omen, its obsidian hull reflecting the pale light of distant stars. Commander Marcus Kane stood on the bridge of the battleship Defiance, his weathered hands gripping the rail as he watched the enemy ship through the viewport. 3 months had passed since the first contact, and humanity had learned a bitter lesson about galactic politics. The Zephyrians had arrived with proclamations of superiority, their elongated forms and silver skin gleaming under artificial lights as they delivered their ultimatum. "Your species is primitive," their ambassador had declared, his voice carrying the weight of millennia. "Submit to our rule, or face extinction. We have conquered 1,000 worlds with our advanced technology and tactical brilliance." Humanity's response had been swift and clear, a polite but firm refusal. The Zephyrians had laughed, a sound like breaking glass, and departed with a promise of return. "You choose war," their leader had said. "We shall show you why resistance is futile." Kane remembered that day vividly. The world leaders had gathered in emergency sessions, scientists had worked around the clock, and military strategists had pored over every scrap of data about their new enemies. The Zephyrians possessed energy weapons that could slice through steel like paper, shields that deflected most projectiles, and ships that moved with impossible grace through the void. But they had made one crucial error: they had underestimated human ingenuity. "Sir," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from her station, "they're beginning their descent. Energy readings are off the charts." Kane nodded grimly. The Zephyrians had returned as promised, bringing with them a fleet of sleek vessels that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Their strategy was predictable. Overwhelming force, precision strikes, and the assumption that Earth's defenders would crumble before their technological superiority. "Initiate Protocol Omega," Kane commanded. Across the globe, hidden installations came online. Humanity hadn't spent 3 months building bigger guns or stronger shields. Instead, they had done what humans did best: they had adapted, improvised, and turned their weaknesses into strengths. The first wave of Zephyrian fighters descended through the atmosphere, their energy weapons charging with deadly purpose. But as they approached their targets, something unexpected happened. The weapons they had brought to bear against stone and steel found themselves facing something entirely different. Clouds of metallic dust filled the air, microscopic particles that humanity had seeded throughout the atmosphere. The Zephyrians' energy weapons, designed for precision and power, became useless as their beams scattered harmlessly through the reflective haze. Their sensors, calibrated for clean energy signatures, were blinded by the electromagnetic chaos. "They're flying blind," Rodriguez reported, her voice tinged with satisfaction. The second phase began immediately. From hidden bunkers and camouflaged positions, humanity struck back, not with advanced energy weapons or exotic technology, but with kinetic projectiles, explosive devices, and tactics that the Zephyrians had never encountered. Guerrilla warfare, asymmetric strategies, and the savage unpredictability that had defined human conflict for millennia. The aliens had studied human military history, but they had focused on the wrong lessons. They had analyzed formations, weapon systems, and traditional battlefield tactics. They had missed the essential truth about human warfare: when pushed to the brink, humans didn't just fight, they became utterly ruthless. Within hours, the Zephyrian fleet was in chaos. Their ships, designed for combat against similarly advanced civilizations, were vulnerable to the crude but effective tactics humanity employed. Swarms of small, fast vessels, converted civilian craft loaded with explosives, rammed into their hulls. Hacking viruses, created by Earth's brightest minds, infiltrated their systems through captured communication equipment. But the killing blow came from humanity's greatest weapon: their capacity for sacrifice. Volunteer pilots, knowing they wouldn't return, guided nuclear warheads into the heart of the Zephyrian command ship. The explosion lit up the night sky like a second sun. Commander Kane watched as the surviving alien vessels retreated, their formation broken and their confidence shattered. The Zephyrians had learned what countless human enemies had discovered throughout history: it wasn't the strength of their weapons or the sophistication of their technology that made humans dangerous. It was their willingness to do whatever it took to survive. As the enemy disappeared into the void, Kane allowed himself a grim smile. The Zephyrians had chosen war, and humanity had indeed taught them how it was done. With cunning, desperation, and the kind of savage determination that had carried the human species through every extinction event it had ever faced. The lesson was clear: never underestimate a species that had spent its entire existence fighting for survival.